play Slam and Jam here on the Athletic NBA Daily. On today's show, we're talking about the good, the bad, and the what of this past week. We're having Mike Smeltz on to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. Thanks a lot, Wheel of Fandom. One, actually, thank you for letting us talk to Mike Smeltz. And also, thanks a lot, Wheel of Fandom, for giving us the Nets. And then we'll do some trivia. But before we do any of that, Al, tell me what happened in the NBA this week.
Andrew, the top story this week was the Memphis Grizzlies and their star Ja Morant after a loss to the Lakers last Friday, during which Ja was a reluctant participant. Ja responded to all post-game interview questions with, quote, "Go ask the coaching staff." On Saturday, the Grizzlies announced that Ja was suspended one game for conduct detrimental to the team. Now, it's been a rough start to the season for Ja, who is currently shooting 38% from the field, 14% from three. His drives per game have dropped from 20.3 per game in the 22-23 season to only 14.6 per game through 8 games this year. Starting with the loss to the Lakers, the Grizzlies have now lost 4 in a row, and they sit at 3-6. After a matchup against fellow surprise cellar dweller Dallas on Friday night, the Grizzlies have a run of games against OKC, New York, Boston, Cleveland, and San Antonio, with 4 of those 5 games on the road. Now, the good news for Grizzlies fans is I just did a tankathon spin, and they got 2 top 8 picks in next year's draft. Congrats. Now, another team who will have tankathon bookmarked this season is the Indiana Pacers, who got their first win of the season this week in a game against the Warriors. Their next game, however, was the main event, the return of the evil, dastardly Miles Turner. Have you heard about this character, Andrew? Makes my blood boil just talking about him. This guy goes on Thanalysis, the podcast I definitely knew existed before this week, and said the meanest thing you could say about Tyrese Halliburton if you ignored any of the sentences that came before or after the thing he said. Luckily, Pacers fans knew what to do in his return, showering him with booze during the tribute video commemorating his beautiful 10 years in Indiana, where they reached 2 Eastern Conference Finals and the team's first NBA Finals in 25 years. The game itself was a doozy, coming down to the final possession, a Giannis fadeaway in the mid-range to get the Bucks the win. And the Bucks needed that win because a stretch suddenly became much more difficult as they dropped a stretch that should have been easy became much more difficult as they dropped games to Toronto and Sacramento this week. Now, speaking of the Kings, it wasn't the worst week. It was a pretty good week to be a Kings fan. Not only did they beat the Bucks on the road, but they also got a big home win against the Warriors, a game in which the Kings were missing 3 starters, with all of Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, and Keegan Murray out with injuries. But it didn't matter because Russell Westbrook turned back the clock, putting up a 23, 16, and 10 triple-double, giving him 215 triple-doubles, including the playoffs. Now, he needs to start getting some more because Nikola Jokic is hot on his heels. He got his 190th this week, moving into second all-time. He's only 25 behind Russ. The Kings will look to begin their miracle run to the NBA Cup Championship on Friday night, when they face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, OKC's luck finally ran out this week with their franchise record best start ending at 8 games. It looked like it would extend to 9 wins in Portland, but despite being down 3 starters, plus Alex Caruso, they even got up by as much as 22 on the Blazers, but Portland fought their way back, eventually pulling ahead and winning 121-119. It was a much-needed win for the Blazers, who had lost their previous game to the Lakers without LeBron, Luka, or Austin Reaves. Now, while we're talking about the Lakers, we should point out that the 7-2 Lakers and the 5-2 Rockets, 2 teams will meet on Christmas, by the way, now share the longest winning streak in the league at 5 following OKC's loss in Portland. Luka is back. He dropped 35, 9, and 13 with 5 steals in a win against the Spurs. And for the Rockets, their next marquee matchup has already happened once you've listened to this, as they face the Spurs on Friday night. And finally, some injury news. In bad news, Walker Kessler out for the year, torn labrum. In good injury news, Jared McCain returned for the Sixers this week in a game against the Bulls that also featured the triumphant return of Red Panda. And those were the top stories this week.
Wow. Some great stories this week. The NBA is never ever boring. Al, you ready to talk about the good, the bad, and the what?
Oh, I'm always ready, Andrew. Listeners, it's time to share with you something we liked this week, something we didn't like, and something that just confused us in a segment we like to call Good, Bad, What? I feel like the way I introduce that, it's kind of deserving of a theme song, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
Kind of feels like it's leading towards something every time I say it.
we might get the L man on that. See if he can help us.
I think this needs someone a little bit more than the L man. I think we need to
Really?
aim bigger than the L man.
Wow, I didn't know you even could.
Yeah,
Didn't
I would say get a professional musician in here.
okay.
Get us a world-class theme song.
I've got some contacts.
Okay. All right, Andrew, what was your good this week?
So I was looking at the stat line: 23 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. It's been done 13 times in NBA history, according to StatHead. 4 for Jokic, 3 for Oscar Robertson, 4 for Westbrook, once for Luka, and then right now, if the season ended today, one would be very weird. 2, Josh Giddey would put himself on that list. Now, this isn't just like a list of. There's no like rando on this list. It's not just like somebody accidentally did this one time or somebody. It's not like Ramon Sessions is on this list. Josh Giddey is on this list, and can he maintain? Really, to me, it's like, can he maintain 23 points per game? Can he maintain the scoring? Is the thing that I wonder, because we all know like he's one of the best rebounding guards in the league. Like, there's no question about that on a team that needs rebounding. And then the assists, like he continues to dish out amazing assists. That one in particular to Vooch in the corner to win that game the other night. But Josh Giddey has become one of the better players in the league. He's 6th in drives per game. He's kind of leading this Bulls offense, and he's looking like a guy. We kind of talked about, like, can he be a hub? We talked about that the other day. I just kind of think he's showing that he can, and the Bulls have put together a team that kind of makes sense. And so it's exciting to see what Josh Giddey has done, and I will say he's the good. And I'm wearing my Slob Wizard shirt.
Oh, wow.
For the YouTubers out there. So busted out the Slob Wizard shirt again. So shout out to Josh Giddey.
Andrew, as you were talking, this is bizarre. My 85-year-old uncle living down there in Palm Springs just happened to text me as you were talking, isn't this Josh Giddey who's doing so well these days an OKC good riddance cast-off?
Really? See? Dude, that how much time was spent hand-wringing about how bad the Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso trade was? Like,
yeah.
There were a lot of wasted minutes with that. And now it looks, obviously, the Thunder will never regret that trade because they won a championship. But I think if you're Chicago, I'm not sure you could have done much better. I know you could have gotten draft picks, but you have an actual good player, a player that is helping drive your team forward. And so I just think that Josh needs some shine.
Yeah, he's been great, and it's just amazing the player he's been since basically the Zach LaVine trade. Because pre All-Star break last year, his numbers 12, 7, and 6. Like,
yeah,
I think for people who were doubting him, that's kind of what they were expecting. That's the player they were expecting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can put up some counting stats, but it's not going to really be that exciting.
Yeah.
But he's now done this. I mean, let's see, post All-Star break, and it probably started a little bit before that. So that was 19 games. So we're up probably around like the 30 to 40 game mark of him being this type of player, which has to be really exciting for Bulls fans.
Yeah, very exciting.
My good this week is a team that I admittedly had written off before the season began. I was not expecting anything good or, frankly, even that watchable. But the Phoenix Suns have been surprisingly competent, and they had a great week. They went 3-1 this week, which included wins over the Jazz, Spurs, and Clippers. Now, the game against the Spurs was the one that really got me locked in because I wasn't initially watching this game. I checked the halftime box score, which told me that Victor Wembanyama had 2 points. I turned on the game, of course, to confirm that my ESPN app was broken. That was why I turned the game on, because based on where the conversation has been around Wemby at the start of the season, seeing a box score where he scored 2 points in a half of basketball, almost as unbelievable to me as the Shams tweet announcing the Luka trade. Like like the app clearly had been hacked. I was going to have to turn on this game myself to get to the bottom of this. And watching the rest of that game, it became clear that this was very real. The Suns' defense was awesome. They were constantly sending doubles, being incredibly physical with Wemby off the ball, on the ball, just making life as difficult as it possibly could be when you're 7-4 or 7-5 or 7-6. It didn't really feel that fluky. And then on Thursday, in Jalen Green's debut, the Suns beat a shorthanded Clippers team, and they did it convincingly. They absolutely blitzed them in the third, which we'll come back to that. Green put up 29 in the game, and looking across this roster, they just have a surprising number of good things happening for them right now. Like Mark Williams, he's been great to start this year. He wasn't good in the Clippers game, but Colin Gillespie is suddenly a good rotation player.
Mm-hmm.
There are only 22 players in the league currently taking 8+ threes per game. 3 of them are on the Phoenix Suns. 3 of those 22. Now, Dylan Brooks probably doesn't count. He's only played 3 games. He's shooting 29% on those threes. Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal are shooting 39% and 42% respectively on massive volume, both taking more than 8 threes per game. Now, I still don't think this team is making the playoffs or anything. That would really surprise me.
Yeah.
But I also don't think the outlook in Phoenix is nearly as bad as I had assumed this summer. Right now, clean the glass, 18th ranked offense, 15th ranked defense, win projection of just under 40 games. Do you remember when Matt Ishbia had his preseason quotes that everyone made fun of? We had a great time. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun with them.
Yep.
And the quote that got the most play was the one that started out, quote, "My expectations are, I hope we win more games than we won last year, but the truth is, it's not going to be measured in wins and losses this year." Ha ha ha. It was very, very funny. It wasn't really the point of what Ishbia would go on to say, but I came away from this week thinking back to that quote like, wait, would it really be that crazy if this Suns team won 37 games, which would give them more wins than last season? Could this team just be competently mediocre? I don't know if I fully believe it yet, but I'm suddenly much more interested in a team that I thought I'd be totally checked out on. And at the very least, the vibes in Phoenix are wildly better compared to last season. Seems like the fans really like this team. And for that alone, they deserve to be my good this week.
Yeah, shouts to Jordan Ott, seems to be doing a very good job with this team. He's the first guy to scheme Wembanyama to frustrate him. I was tuning in hey, is somebody going to announce that Victor Wembanyama has the flu or something? What's going on here? No, it's just the way that they played against him really, really messed with them. And then teams have kind of followed suit. I didn't think that they would be, one of the trending teams this season.
He got Ott. Maybe we'll start saying that. Jordan Ott just becomes the greatest coach ever. He got
Ott.
I will say a side note, one of my favorite things going forward is just watching small guys guard Wemby. Because it really does seem like a cheat code to just stick your head where his elbows are going to be and just get hit in the head. It's that's a pretty good tactic. It works. And what's Wemby supposed to do? He's got to move his arms.
He's got to be able to move his arms.
Every time he moves his arms, it's a guy's head right there.
Well, I remember watching, and this is obviously a much different player because Wemby is unlike any player. But I remember watching guys defend Kevin Durant when he was first in the NBA. And the guys that frustrated him the most were Tony Allen and Chris Paul.
Yeah,
players like that were just smaller than him. And they would be able to kind of get right up underneath him and be able to defend him in a way that was really frustrating. And it was always what is happening? Why couldn't he just shoot right over them? It makes me even more excited for Christmas Day to see Alex Caruso defending Wemby on Christmas Day. Very excited to see
They'll probably throw Kaysen on him.
I think that they will give everybody a chance. Dort is going to be so annoying to Wemby.
He will be.
That's great.
Andrew, what was your bad this week?
My bad is 3 teams that have had bad starts that people thought could be good. 1, the Clippers. There's a lot of buzz about the Clippers before the season started. They're 3-5, 24th in net rating, 26th in defense, and 21st in offense so far this season. The Orlando Magic, who I'm gonna for my I'm gonna read a quote about the Orlando Magic, but I'll save that. they're 3-5 as well. 19th in net rating, 14th in defense, 23rd in offense. The 23rd in offense is certainly concerning, but the fact that they're a mediocre defense so far this season is just weird. Like that's I think that will correct itself. And then we have the Dallas Mavericks, who are so bad. They're dead last in offense, and there's been 16 games so far this season where teams have been under a 101 offensive rating, and that's across the entire league. The Mavs have 6 of those games. They have been so bad offensively. They're dead last in offense. They're 5th in defense, which makes sense when you look at their personnel, but they have no semblance of an offense, and their fan base is just starting to erupt right now, which they should. It's very bad, especially whenever you see what Luka's doing in LA and just how dominant he's been. But I guess my question to you, Al, is which of these 3 teams do you think has the best chance to turn it around and do something close to what the expectations were for them heading into the season?
Not the Mavs.
That team seems not hopeless is a strong word because they do have Cooper Flag. But I would say this version of the Mavs feels pretty hopeless.
Yeah. Now maybe Kyrie comes back and they start to just look like a normal team.
I hate that people just think that that will magic. This is an older guard coming off an ACL tear that didn't happen that long ago. And we're thinking that is going to just magically fix everything. That's wrong
true,
with this
but
team.
The bar is so low for good guard play on that team.
Yeah, maybe Kyrie would make them the 26th ranked offense in the league.
There we go. I have to go with the Magic. I have so much stock, personal, real stock in the Magic doing well this season. I feel like a fool. They've made me feel just embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because watching some of these games, it's embarrassing how little the offense has changed. How so many of the problems that have been there throughout this whole period are just still there. And I feel dumb for thinking that you could just insert Desmond Bane and that would fix a lot of these issues. It hasn't happened at all. But what you hit on with the defense, that's the bigger concern because that was their identity. Even if when their offense was bad, when they were healthy, that team was still good because their defense was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And Desmond Bane has not been great defensively. Bringing in someone like Tyus Jones obviously isn't going to help your defense. I still just have to believe that the collection of talent, that is a talented roster. It has to, at some point, work itself out. And maybe it does involve hiring a new coach. Who knows? I hate that I picked Jamal Mosley for Coach of the Year, and he could be the first coach fired. That's never a good sign when you do get the opposite thing. But I think it's going to take something like that because it doesn't feel like they have figured out anything in these games. I don't feel like they're progressing towards something better right now. They just feel stuck in the mud every game.
Mm-hmm.
They're
already stuck in the mud. But I think they should change their coach.
Did you see the Onyeka Okongwu quote?
I was going to be my what? It's so good.
Okay. I'll save it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the Clippers. Hey, they're my bad this week, so I have a lot to say about the Clippers.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I somehow stumbled into watching all 4 of their games this week. I did not plan on doing this. It was not my goal. But first, they started off with the Cup game against the Pelicans. I was like, I want to see if the Pelicans get a win. Awesome game. Came down the wire. Kawhi hit the game winner. Then their next game was against Miami. Another super close game. Another chance for Kawhi to hit a game winner. He missed that one. Then they played OKC. Obviously watching that. And then last night, on Thursday night, it was the only game on, so I'm watching that. And I've come away from this early stretch of Clippers games wondering whether this team is just old and are going to take some time to round into form over the course of the season, or is this team just old, done, a non-insignificant number of players on this roster are playing their final season in the NBA currently.
Yeah.
And I think if you haven't watched this team yet and you just look at their 3-5 record, you see some of the scores, they look close. It doesn't seem as bad as it actually is. This is a bad team. You brought it up, but per clean the glass, it's even worse if you take out garbage time. Clippers have the 22nd ranked offense, 27th ranked defense. The only teams on cleaning the glass with a worse defense than the Los Angeles Clippers are New Orleans, Washington, and Brooklyn. As a reminder, this was a
No.
team with a top 3 defense last year.
Yeah.
Top 3. And it's absolutely true that Kawhi's missed a couple games. Harden missed the Phoenix game too. But one of the selling points of this team in the summer was how deep they were. It's loaded with all these battle-tested vets, plus Bradley Beal. And now that you're getting to see this depth, none of these guys look like the versions that existed in our head this summer.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to give up on them completely because, like I said, I do think there's a chance that it's just going to take this old team a minute to ramp up. But right now, this team is looking slow. They look old, and not in the good way, not in like the wily veteran that is super smart. No, they just look like they're about to retire old. And they
Yeah.
completely lack the defensive identity that they had last season. So for now, they're a bad.
Yeah. They definitely look old. There are just moments where like and we watch NBA games a lot, and a lot of times the difference is like, are you willing to make like these extra hustle plays? And a lot of teams are willing to do that. And a lot of teams are like going pretty deep into their rosters so that they can have enough energy for guys to play like that all the time. That's how OKC made it to the finals. Indiana played that way and got to the finals. But you see that none of that with the Clippers. Like no extra effort plays. It's like we have our like one fastball, and if that doesn't do good enough, that's all we got.
And the
It's just
crazy thing is, and I think a lot of the blame, I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around, but Bradley Beal, like I know he's coming back from injury, but
yeah.
the talk in the summer was like, yeah, he's on an awful contract, but if he was just the player he was in Phoenix when he was on the court, he's worth that contract that he's now on in the Clippers. Dude, they would love to have last year's version of Bradley Beal right now. He has been
Yeah.
terrible. And he's the kind of guy you're describing who's not making those extra hustle plays. And he was supposed to be the guy, probably more than anyone else on this roster, where if you do miss games from Kawhi and Harden, well, here's a guy who could take over offensively. And he just has not been able to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer
Norman
is.
Powell, man. Norman Powell was really, really good for them last year.
Yeah, Storm
Like
Norman was good.
that's a really big deal.
Yeah, I saw. I did see some Clippers fan complaining the fact that these last couple games, the other teams keep getting players back. Like when they played OKC, Chet came back.
Yeah.
When they played Miami, it was Norman Powell's first game back, and then they play Phoenix, and it's Jalen Green's first game back. They all just have like really good games. It is kind of annoying, and maybe some of this is schedule stuff, and just these guys. I mean, there's a lot of new pieces on this team trying
Yeah.
to suddenly play together. So I'll give him a little bit more time just because last year's team was so good. By the playoffs,
Yeah.
I was terrified of that Clippers team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll
Yeah.
give him some more time, but right now it's bad.
Yeah.
Andrew, you alluded to it. What is your what?
And Yaku Kongwu was asked about the Desmond Bain play where Bain basically just volleyballs this basketball into his face as he's
He did a
laying
combo
down.
move on him.
It was a
was
combo
cool.
move. First, he took him down, and then the ball was right there. He just slams it at him. The funniest part of like rewatching that is like Onyeka had no clue what was going on the whole time. He wasn't mad at all. Mo Gay was the one who was mad for him on the Hawks. He was confused, and he was asked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I didn't know what was going on." And then this quote was kind of like, what is happening here? He said, I can already tell that he's frustrated over there. He's not having the best year. I'd be frustrated too if I was in the position that he was in over there, that he is watching respectfully. Paolo and Franz take all the shots. It's nothing personal.
What a quote. That's so
What
good.
a great quote on Yucko
Love
Kongwu.
mind games.
Thank you for that. But yeah, if this is coming from other players on the record, this is something that you could see like a player saying this off the record to you. Like I could see that happening where a player is just like, you're just shooting the breeze with a player and you can hear him say something like that. But on the record, saying that about Desmond Bain and playing against him and like actually seeing it on the court is like, oh, well, this is not good. This is
See,
really bad.
but this is how players should respond. Like, you shouldn't say something like, "Oh, he's a fake tough guy," because that'll fire him up, okay?
Yeah.
You gotta do this, like, backhanded compliment thing where you're actually, like, instigating strife within their locker room.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And it's so true though. Like it's kind of refreshing to watch the Magic and to see that and then just hear a player actually say it.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
because it really does feel like Paulo and Franz are awesome players. Like I don't want to get that twisted. Like they're very, very good players. But I think the question is once you like hit this threshold of yes, we know you're good, you've established that you can be a good team. But now are you playing at the highest level, making other players on the court better with you? And that is going to be like the biggest question that needs to be answered for them offensively for them to take the next step. Or do they need like an actual like point guard organizer of the offense that isn't a backup point guard truly? Like they need like a real starting point guard could
Yeah, that
be
they
like the
that they
answer to it.
trust, that they, like, see as on their level, not like
Yes.
yeah. Uh, I'm feeling bad about Orlando.
It's not
Uh,
good.
my what this week is whatever Keontae George has been up to this season because
Yeah.
he's become an awesome player, seemingly overnight. But
Hooping.
specifically, the thing that makes me say what is how he's getting to the line. As a refresher, in his first and second years in the league, he's playing a lot of minutes. He took 3 and 4.3 free throw attempts per game, first and second year. If you added those together, that'd be 7.3 free throw attempts per game. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Keontae is currently averaging 9.3 free throw attempts through 8 games, more than doubling his output last season. And he's good at them too. He's shooting 91%. That is a massive jump. His free throw rate, which is the number of free throw attempts a player has per field goal attempt, went from 0.31 to 0.61. Now, to put that in context, last season, remember all the talk about how wild Jimmy Butler's free throw rate was?
Yeah.
It was 0.66. Keontae is in range of what Jimmy Butler was doing last season. And when you look at players averaging at least 20 minutes a game, no one in the league, other than Benedict Mathurin, but he only played 2 games, no one in the league sees a greater percentage of their points come from the free throw line than Keontae George.
That's so weird. That's
And
so weird.
if his 3-point shot comes around, because he's currently shooting 26% from 3, like, we're talking about a star guard. Like, that is a star guard. If he can shoot threes and get to the line. Now, he hasn't really been a shooter yet. You know, his first 2 seasons, he shot like 34, 35%. If he can become a shooter and this, like, him being able to get to the line is real, he obviously has to still put it all together, and he has to do it for more than 8 games. But his ceiling is suddenly so much more realistic to me than I was thinking heading into this season.
Mm-hmm.
And for Jazz fans, I mean, we talked about it in the preseason. Like, this is such a huge season for this Jazz front office. Like, you have to come to the end of this season and feel like you have at least one guy
Yeah.
that you feel like, okay, this guy could potentially make an All-Star game. Let's just start there, and we'll see how this season plays out. But at least you're seeing some flashes early on. It's a bummer that Walker Kessler got hurt because he was looking awesome too. But at least with Keontae, you feel like, okay, like this is it. This is about as good of an early sign as you could get early in the season of a third year player. Let's see how this plays out because, you know, Ace Bailey obviously not playing a lot right now, but Keontae really picking up the slack in terms of like just needing a young Jazz player to explode. And he's doing it so far.
Mm-hmm. Another team that could use an explosion from a young player is the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to talk about them right after this quick break.
Andrew, it's time for the Wheel of Fandom, the weekly segment where we spin a wheel, it lands on a team, and we become fans of that team for the next week. Last week, the wheel landed on the Brooklyn Nets, who came into the week without a win this season. But by the power of the wheel, the Brooklyn Nets not only won a game this week, they won a road game against a team that appeared in the NBA Finals last year. Wow. Are the Nets ahead of schedule? Do the Nets have a schedule? Per Cleaning the Glass, the 1-7 Nets have the 23rd ranked offense and 30th ranked defense. Andrew, if the Nets are our favorite team, who is our guest?
Our guest is my good friend Mike Smeltz, who, when I think about the Nets, I don't think about any player on the Nets. I don't think about the Barclays Center. I just think about Mike and how sorry I feel for him that he's had to be a Nets fan for this long. Mike, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Honestly, the being a Nets fan has brought me so much. It brings me back on the show. I hope to never be on the show again for the sake of your listeners. This team, like I was in the take machine. I hopped in the take machine and thought, okay, I'm gonna come with some juicy, spicy takes. And unfortunately, they're as bland as my grandma's potato salad. You know how bland that is? So bland. So uh Grandma Bonnie, your potato salad is horrible. Anyways, so I'm here to talk about the Nets, who, yes, they beat the Pacers. Probably the
Yeah.
one of two teams they shouldn't beat because they're in the race for the bottom against the Wizards and the Pacers,
Yeah.
and they can't even tank properly. Ugh.
Yeah. That's what you call that's what you call a double loss right there. It's really, really bad.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah.
Mike, one of the big talking points among the Nets fan base right now is how the Nets are using or not using their rookies. Other than Yegor, none of the other first-round picks have gotten consistent playing time, and Jordi Fernandez announced this week that Ben Saraf, Nolan Traore, and Danny Wolf will be spending time in the G League. What is your opinion on this current plan for the rookie class?
Yeah. So there's no plan. It's obvious they have no plan. Saraf started the year at point guard, and now he's not playing. Yeah, and when you filter minutes, just filter. Everyone go to the Nets player stats and filter minutes, and then try to pick out which are the first round picks, and then which are the guys who won't be on the team next year. And the
Yeah,
guys who won't be on the team next year are the people at the top, and the rookies are at the bottom. Now, I am an advocate for uh, a comforting ride into a tanking where you do have veteran assistance, but you still need to play some of your rookies. And like, okay, if I was starting the season and I was talking about what I'm looking forward to, it would just be to see the rookies playing basketball on the court, and they don't play basketball. And so to be good at basketball, you have to play basketball, which is why they're going to play on Long Island and not Brooklyn. But yeah, it's not. It actually, I don't know. This is probably too far. It actually shows that there is some disconnect between the Sean Marks front office and the Jordi Fernandez coaching staff. The fact
100%.
that Jordy's not playing the rookies, and Sean Marks, made the risky move of drafting 5 guys in the first round, and none of them can play. Besides, Yegor, but like Yegor's, not like he's lighting the world on fire in the way that other rookies are this year.
Yeah, so let's talk about Yegor because he was the highest drafted player from this group, and he has been getting semi-regular minutes, although he did only play like 13 in their last game. Obviously, not a lot to go on. He did score his first 2-pointer this week. That was a big moment. What are your early impressions about just how he plays? Because I feel like in the draft cycle, I was sold an idea of a player, and then I watch him, and I don't feel like he is that player. Like the comp to Josh Giddey, I watch him play, and I'm like, I don't see Josh Giddey in this player.
Yeah, so like, okay, so you can kind of take half of the stats and be like, okay, he was a bad 3-point shooter in college. Like, I don't know about historically bad, but like he went from being a top prospect early in the year to like being a debacle from outside shooting at BYU.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, well, he's taking some threes in the NBA. Well, it's because he can't take twos. He's unable to shoot the ball inside the 3-point line, which is not a good sign. I mean, if you're a 6'8" ball handler, you should be able to get off a shot inside the arc, and you can't. I'm always gonna, not always, but I do like Yegor, and I'm excited to see him grow and develop. And he is a guy who played in Russia, then went to BYU, the Russia of America, and then he's now playing for Brooklyn, which is kind of like the Russia of New York City if you've been to Brooklyn, and
Interesting.
a big Russian Ukrainian culture over there. Anyway, so he is it's hasn't been good, particularly when you kind of look at the guys who've been drafted around him. And as as much as that Pelicans trade where they got Derek Queen is a debacle, like Derek Queen's had a better game than Yegor Devin has even. So like, if we're doing a redraft rating of Sean Marks's draft so far, not looking good for Sean as a GM of the Brooklyn Nets.
But like, what is he? What kind of
I don't
player
know,
is
man.
he?
Alex and I were having this conversation before we started the
Well,
pod.
what do you guys think? Tell me.
Oh, I've heard a comp to like Joe Ingles, which I sort of get because like he plays a lot more off ball than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And there are flashes off ball where you're like, oh, this kind of makes sense. In my head, I thought coming into the season, this is one of those guys where they were just going to give him the ball and he was going to run the offense. Clearly, I was wrong, or I was led wrong by some draft articles, because just doesn't feel like that's the player he is.
Yeah, and it's like one of those unfortunate. So far, it's one of those unfortunate things where we sometimes exaggerates a player's ball handling skills because they're taller. So he's tall, and because he can handle the ball, we're like, he's Sean Livingston. And then when in actuality, when you get to the NBA, doesn't quite add up. I mean, Joe Ingles would be great right now. Let's be honest. If the Nets could have Joe Ingles, peak Joe Ingles,
Dude.
Man, we would die for peak Joe Ingles right now.
Prime Joe Ingles shut down Paul George in the playoffs.
Absolutely smothered him. The GOAT. PG-13, the GOAT, was smothered by Joe Ingles. So I would take that right now. I don't know what he is. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what any of these rookies are. All of them defy explanation at this point.
Yeah.
Here's
how you get Joe Ingles is that you have to send Yegor away for 8 years, because Joe Ingles didn't join the NBA until he was 27. And so just send him away for 8 years. Hopefully he'll come back and he'll be good like Joe Ingles was.
Well, and again, and this is probably a question you guys may have later, but like the team that they put these 5 rookies on, the 2 like biggest ball hogs in the NBA are leading it. I mean, Cam Thomas is the biggest, and then Michael Porter Jr. is not like so egregious, but he's not he's not what even Bridges was when Bridges was with the Nets. Where like Bridges was pretty much like, if he would have some assist games, pretty good assist games. He would move the ball. Yeah, he would take shots, but he would actually move the ball. Where Porter, I mean, and we could talk about the Cam Johnson trade, which I'm happy to, but like the thing he is not will be a guy who lifts everyone else on the team. He's a guy who will get his, but he's not a person that will sort of, rising tide lifts all boats.
Mm-hmm. So the players who are on the court for the Nets is a strange collection of role players, as you just mentioned.
Good.
Has anything surprised you or excited you early on?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Are you an MPJ guy? Like, do you believe Nick Claxton is this team's next best point guard? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah. You know who's this? This may be trivia territory. You know who's leading the team in assists right now?
It is Nick Claxton.
Is that a trivia question or isn't?
There's a question related to that, but I did not do that.
Okay.
I knew you would know it.
Yeah. Nick Claxton, who, when he was at Georgia, did show ball handling for a 6'10", 6'11" athletic freak that he is. And like it disappeared on those KD Kyrie teams. And suddenly on this team, it's like 3.5 assists. It's not crazy, but for a guy who, for most of his NBA career, could do nothing but dunk the ball, he's doing something. That's exciting. I will say, Nets fans, the thing we watch the most besides this team is how Cam Johnson's playing in Denver. Not that good. And so whether this season is the Schadenfreude tank season where we can enjoy the fact that Cam Johnson, who everyone, oh my God, Cam Johnson, he's amazing. He's going to be incredible with Nikola Jokic. Okay, not that good. And MPJ, whatever we want to say about him, he can put it in the bucket, and he, gets rebounds. He does get some, like he's a much better player than Cam Johnson, and the Nets got a first-round pick. So those are the shining bright lights. Him
Let's go.
and Nick Claxton. This season, we're back, baby. The Nets are back. We're going to get Ja Morant. We're back. Let's go.
So there's a good segment on Peacock before the Nets-Wolves games where they were talking about how regardless of your standing in the league, it's important to find an identity.
Sure.
Having watched this team, seen who they drafted, what do you think the front office envisions as the Nets' identity?
I actually guarantee if you ask them, okay, what they would probably say is like, we're going to be well coached. Like Jordy's going to coach him up, but they don't care. They look at what's happening in Lawrence, Kansas and Durham, North Carolina, and where all the great freshmen are across the country. And they are so ecstatic that this year, sure, there's not a Cooper flag. And, but there could be like 5 VJ Edgecombs in this. I mean, honestly, Peterson may be, he may be better than Cooper, but they're so excited. So, okay, your question was, what's the identity on the court? They honestly do not care. They didn't construct this team for an identity. They constructed it to be bad. And they're doing a fantastic job, except for beating the one team that they can't beat, which is the Pacers. I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here? Anyways, it's a good year.
Okay, our final question is this.
Yeah.
If you had to bet an uncomfortable amount of money on 3 players from the current Nets roster being on the next Nets team to make the playoffs, who would be your picks?
Oh, my God. Okay, Jaeger Devon's like, you hope. Oh, my God. They're going to trade Michael Porter Jr. Cam Thomas will not be on the team. They're going to trade Nick Claxton. They're going to trade Terrence Mann. They're probably going to trade Tyrese Martin because there'll be some team that'll be like, we'll give you a top 55 protected second-round pick. Noah Clowney will be on this team. So that's 2.
2.
Nice.
Can we get to 3?
First Noah Clowney mention.
And this Cooper Flag's son will be on this team when they make the playoffs next time.
He's not on the current team. You got to pick a current player.
No, Cooper Flag's son. The son of Cooper Flag. Oh, you mean a current? Oh, sorry. Right. You know what I'm saying. I refuse.
Who's your favorite rookie that hasn't played any minutes?
Yeah. Traore, Saraf. You're not a Danny Wolf guy?
I really like Danny Wolf. I'd say go with Danny Wolf.
Yeah, I should go Danny Wolf.
Yeah, he's crushing it this year. It's honestly, what do you want me to say? You want me to be honest? Or do you want me to...
We actually want this. Yeah. We want what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This team, I don't see, I mean, maybe I'm writing the book on Saraf and Wolf, and I mean, too early, but Drake Powell, like maybe Drake Powell. How about that? Because I could see him like, he was like the more of the long-term developmental guy who you like actually has an NBA body, where the rest of them have, they absolutely hate NBA body types on this team. If you look at all the guys they drafted, they're all like skinny, gangly, but not in a good not a good gangle. Like a my 15-year-old nephew kind of gangly. You know? It's not a good gangle.
A good gangle.
All right. Well, Mike, thanks for answering all our questions about this exciting team. It was a joy to watch them.
Let's go.
I'm glad we got to experience the first win. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was a close game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was, what a win. Great.
It's
great
now
season.
time to play Andrew versus the Beat Nets edition. Mike, you've played this before. I've come up with 8 questions about the Nets. You'll give me a number between 1 and 8. It'll correspond to a question. If you get it right, you'll get at least 2 points. If you get it wrong, Andrew will have a chance to steal for 1, and we'll go back and forth until all the questions have been asked and answered. So to start us off, Mike Smeltz, give me a number between 1 and 8.
7 for Kevin Durant. Yes.
Great.
He's on the team.
Okay. How many players on the Brooklyn Nets roster have had a 30-point game in their career? Now, you get to choose who answers first. You can make Andrew answer, and you go higher or lower, or you can answer, and then Andrew will go higher or lower. If either of you get it exactly correct, you would get a bonus point. So you don't have to tell me who it was, just give me a number. How many players on the current roster have had a 30-point game in the NBA?
Okay. Andrew, give your number.
Ooh, that's risky.
I'll say 6.
Andrew said 6.
6 below 6, please. Is that how it works?
Yep, that's how it works, and that's how you get points, because 6 is a crazy guess. It is 4.
Can I guess them?
Yeah, sure.
Cam Thomas, MPJ, Tyrese Martin, and...
One more. You got 3 of them.
So it's either Claxton or Terrence Mann, I think.
Okay.
Well, wait, did Zaire Williams have like some weird wild
See, that's the road I'm going down. You're going down the road I was kind of going down.
Zaire.
You were doing well. It was Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann. Okay.
And actually, Noah Clowney was the closest. He had a 29-point game.
Oh, wow.
We call him Mr. 29 because he never got to 30.
We're always calling him that. All right, Andrew, the board is yours.
Man, Zaire never got close, even on a tanking team. That's bad. Okay. Even Poku scored 30 points. I'll go number 1.
Question number 1. With their win over the Pacers this week, the Brooklyn Nets avoided an historical bad start, such as the 0-18 start by the 2009-2010 New Jersey Nets. We're going to name all 17 players who played NBA minutes for the 09-10 New Jersey Nets. So how this will work, Andrew will give me a name, then Mike will give me a name. We'll go back and forth till one of you stumbles. So Andrew, 2009-2010 New Jersey Nets.
Brook Lopez.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
I was going to say, if that's not right, I give up.
No.
All right, Mike.
The thing that stinks about this is there's too many names that are floating around in my head, and they're going to all be wrong. I'm going to go Stromile Swift.
Stromile Swift. And just like that, Andrew, you've got the points.
Just like that. Like was Devin Harris on that team?
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Harris.
I think Courtney Lee was on that team.
Yeah, Courtney Lee.
What?
Anyone
Wait, hold on.
Was Chris Humphries?
Yes, he was.
Chris
Humphries.
Humphries?
On the board. Not a real board, but
not
on the
a real
board.
Yeah.
What about Yi Jianlian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definite.
He was a problem.
What a great team.
Some other names. Terrence Williams, Rafer Alston, Jarvis Hayes, Keon Dooling, Bobby Simmons, Chris Douglas Roberts, CDR. You should have gotten CDR. Chris
honestly,
Quinn.
not a bad team.
No,
not a bad team at all.
No, honestly, bad team. Eduardo Nahara, Tony Battie, Trenton Hassel, Josh Boone, and Sean Williams.
Wait, they won how many games did you say?
Well, they started out 0-18.
0-18.
Yeah.
The coach didn't last, right?
Why are you asking me all these questions?
I don't know.
I don't have like an encyclopedic knowledge of.
Just trying to reminisce. Just trying to reminisce on the Nets, man.
Was it Avery Johnson, I think?
Oh, here we go. Their coach, who only lasted 16 of those 18 losses, Lawrence Frank. Then we got 2 games of Tom Barisi. Okay.
Yeah, he made impact.
And then Kiki Vandeweghe took over the rest of the season. And then Avery was the next season. That team won 12 games.
12.
The team that Mike just said, honestly,
not bad.
Pretty good team.
I mean, I would die for that team right now.
All right, Mike, the board is yours. We got a tie game, 2-2.
2.
Michael Porter Jr. had a career high 11 free throw attempts in that win over the Pacers. Career high for him. Who are the other 2 Nets to attempt 11 plus free throws in a game this season? And you have to name both to get the points.
Cam Thomas.
Okay, and the other name?
Is that one? Is that one, though?
Maybe. It doesn't matter. You have to get both of them to get the points.
Noah Clowney.
Andrew, you have a chance to steal for 1 point.
Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton.
Woo, that is correct. 1 point for Andrew.
Yay. Name the good players. Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton.
Andrew, board is yours.
3.
Question number 3. I accidentally gave that point to Mike. I apologize. Taking it away. Thank you. Oh. Question number 3. Per Cleaning the Glass, the Nets currently have the worst defense in the league. The last time Brooklyn was a bottom 5 defense was the 2015-16 season when their defense ranked 29th. Who led that team in rebounds? Rebounds per game. 2015-16.
16. Oh my gosh. You would think it would be a particular guy, but he's also not much of a boundsman. Oh. I guess I'll just go with him, but I don't know who else it would be. I guess I'll go with Brooke, but I don't feel good about that.
I'm sorry, Andrew. That is incorrect. Mike, any guesses?
Nope. No guesses.
You're passing?
Yeah, passing. Tell me.
It was Thaddeus Young.
Thaddeus Young.
Oh.
I knew it. I knew it.
Sad.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't. Okay. Mike, board is yours. You're only down 3-2. Question number 5. The Nets have been involved in 9 total minutes of clutch time this season. Can you name one of the 3 teams who have had fewer than 9 clutch minutes this season? There's only 3 of them.
Wow.
So they've had under 9 clutch minutes this season. There's 3 of them. You only got to give me one.
I was thinking like the other way about this, like the plus differential, like who just is blowing the doors off other players or other teams. But I know the opening of the season for OKC was an overtime classic. I'm going to go with the Wizards.
That is correct. That's all you need. That's all you need for the 2 points.
Shout out to the Wiz.
The Wiz.
What are the other teams?
Toronto and the New York Knicks.
Oh,
all right.
Weird.
Okay,
Those
so
are hard.
Mike has pulled ahead. It's now 4-3. 3 questions left. Andrew.
Number 4.
Per Cleaning the Glass, Brooklyn is currently ranked highest in which of the following categories? Half-court offense, transition offense, half-court defense, transition defense. Ranked
What's the question?
highest. Which of those are they ranked highest in?
God.
Ranked highest.
I mean, I would guess it'd be offense in some capacity.
Okay.
Half-court offense? I don't know.
Andrew, that's correct. We watched the 21st ranked half-court offense this week.
Let's go.
Pretty good.
Yep. When it gets to playoff time, that's going to come through.
That's a great point. The game slows down.
True, when the game slows down, so the Nets show up.
By the way,
OKC last year in transition offense?
They were good. They weren't like the best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was one other thing I noticed, how slow this Brooklyn team plays. They're like one of the slowest teams in the league.
Yeah, fun
All
watch.
right, Mike, you're down 5-4. 2 questions left. 6 or 8?
6, 7, 6.
You got it. The Nets, they might be the worst defense in the NBA, but that doesn't mean their hustle stats page on NBA.com is blank. From what I can see, they're still hustling going on. Who leads the Nets in deflections this season?
Terrence Mann.
Woo! He's got it.
Wow.
That was easy. That was easy.
I know. That was one of the easier questions I've ever included. I'm glad you got it. Yeah. It is now 6-5 going into the final question. And this is crazy because, Andrew, you could get 3 points on this question. You only need 2 to win the week.
All right.
But it also leaves open the door that if you only got 2, then Mike could come back and get the final point. So this is exciting.
Okay.
So here we go.
Okay.
Nick Claxton currently leads the Nets in assists per game with 3.8.
Yep.
Yeah. There are only 3 NBA teams other than the Nets, who do not have someone averaging at least 5 assists per game. Can you name all 3? You get 1 point per correct answer. So these are NBA teams who don't have one player averaging 5 assists per game.
Oh my gosh.
The Nets are one.
I know
there's
one of
3
them,
other.
Andrew.
Ooh.
You're so screwed. I know one of them, buddy.
Andrew, those are fighting words.
I think the Wiz have to be 1.
The Wizards are 1. The game is now tied.
I would guess Orlando doesn't have 1.
Andrew has pulled ahead.
Damn it. That was the one I was like, I know this. Okay.
Now, Andrew, it's important for you to get this last one, because if you don't get it, Mike could get it and retie the game.
Yeah.
I got to think about this.
I have one more idea. The limit is 5? Like, have to be under 5?
Yeah, under 5.
God, that is crazy. That is nuts. That is nuts. That there are
Alex,
that many
you'll
teams.
give me a hint, right? You'll give me a hint.
Let me think if I could. What's a good hint?
Man, I feel like maybe.
Just tell me the city that they play in.
I feel like that would help. That would help.
I don't want to give I don't want to give hints, but there's a couple teams I'm considering.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, I'm gonna say the Boston Celtics.
Andrew, that is absolutely incorrect. Okay, Mike, this is your big chance.
Okay. Here are the teams I'm considering just for the audience, because Andrew cannot answer anymore.
Okay.
Correct. So I'm thinking about Toronto. I'm thinking about the Pacers. I mean, Scotty Bones scares me, right? I'm thinking about the Pacers because they suck. Excuse me. Apologies. So I'm trying to think about those 2 teams specifically, as well as who would be dishing out assists for the Utah Jazz. So is there a hint you could provide, Alex, that would get me closer to the truth?
The only thing I'll say is that we've talked about them today. We've talked about this team.
Well, that could be the Pacers or the Raptors.
Yeah, so that doesn't help you. Great.
Well, it eliminates Utah. Thank you very much. Okay. Pacers.
The correct answer is the New Orleans Pelicans, which means Andrew wins the week 8-7.
Yeah.
Wait, we didn't talk. I did not talk about the Pelicans.
Yeah, you did. You mentioned the trade, how bad the trade was.
You did.
Remember?
Oh,
Derek Queen.
Derek
Queen.
Damn it.
That was
God.
close.
That's exciting. What an exciting end to an exciting pod.
That was wild. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Please start the Glue Guys up again. Please, begging you.
Yeah. No.
If they win the lottery, will you start Glue Guys again?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Nothing could bring me back to those the trench warfare of Brooklyn Nets podcasting.
Okay.
I refuse.
Okay. Bummer. Well, we will hit you back up and you will join us again. Thanks to the Wheel of Fandom. Mike, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, Andrew, that was Nets week.
Woo! We did it.
Yeah, that won't happen again this year. Don't worry. Don't worry, listeners.
Don't worry, everybody.
Don't worry. All right, let's spin the wheel and see who the next team is going to be on the Wheel of Fandom. It's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're so close to the Magic.
We almost got Orlando, which I was a little bit excited about.
I know,
just like, what the heck is going on with Orlando? It's also, there's,
I mean, the Cavs are a good team, and let's take a look at who they're playing this week. We got a game on Friday. Now, this is a cup game, I'm assuming, against the Washington Wizards. Saturday, back-to-back against the Chicago Bulls at home. And then we get to watch this new high-flying Heat team twice in a row. They have to play games against the Heat on Monday and Wednesday, both on the road.
Wow.
And then have to come
weird.
back home and play Toronto. Oh my gosh, they have 5 games. Have we ever had a team with 5 games in a week?
That's a lot of Cavaliers basketball.
Wow, that's a lot of Cavs ball.
Wow, that's wild. Hey, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. Just like this one from Slippery__Pete. Love the podcast, especially the weekend slam and jam. Great thing to listen to while dog walking on a weekend morning. I enjoy that you cover everybody rather than endless Lakers and Warriors talk. And the trivia section is great. Although I have to take issue with Alex on the Rockets episode.
Why?
Your question about 30-point scores with 5+ teams somehow omitted James Harden.
That's true. Like I said, hardest question I ever had to research. Wait, okay, Harden's been on 3 teams already? OKC, Houston.
5+ teams.
Oh, it's Philly. I forgot Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, point to that listener.
Thank you, Slippery Pete. Says, keep up the good work and go Pistons. Leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on the show. Hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Enjoy the basketball. And we will talk to you guys again next Saturday.